the man of the hour.
If you think this is a lot of equipment, you should have seen me in 1992. I thought this was like dying and going to heaven. You see, I had a 4-track recorder that I was using with a cheesy keyboard and an acoustic guitar, and I had a little tiny 4-track recording of some of my songs, which I shared with Tim.
Very cheesy 4-track recorder, I might add.
Wasn't that? It was the best I could do at the time, anyway. It was an interesting time. We got together, and I heard something that just blew me away. It was the first thing that Tim was working on a song, and he played me a DAT machine copy of what he had been working on, and the clarity of the vocals and the clarity of the sounds and the separations were so amazing. I was totally blown away, and I was hooked. So I decided to get rid of my stuff and start recording. We got together a few months after that, and we started with Alabaster Praise, the first song. And we did it in one day. Basically, it's what we did is gone, but at that moment, it was something that was bigger than anything I could have ever hoped for.
The beginning of a long journey of redoing parts that were already done.
That's true.
And improving, along the way.
Along the way. It was the idea. I thought what we would do is we'd get together for a few hours. I'd bring in the song, we'd lay it down, I'd sing the vocals, and we'd be done. And that was something that was a rude awakening for me when I got involved in real recording. My first experience playing guitar in Alabaster Praise was listening to the squeaks of my fingers with a new microphone and good acoustics. I was telling Tim at the moment, please get rid of these squeaks, and he was saying, well, that's your technique. Up to that point, I hadn't even heard squeaks before. So this was a new experience, to say the least.
Hey, okay, I'm an engineer. I'm not a miracle worker, all right?
I had to get better in a lot of things, and it became real clear to me that some of the stuff that I had been doing was certainly not going to be good enough. So we went back to the drawing board on a lot of songs, and I basically began with Alabaster Praise and finished a rough recording of that. And then we moved on, after a few songs, to Lazarus, which became a monumental undertaking. We worked on the song for over a year and a half, and
I'd like to say that we spent a year working on Lazarus, right? A year or what?
Yeah, a year and a half.
Well, it wasn't really a year and a half, okay?
We worked on the song for over a year and a half, and as one may say, it's a little overproduced. Actually, I think it's great. It's the kind of song that you think about. If you have a year and a half to make a song, and you figure everything that you could possibly put into it, you do, that's what you come up with. And
well, actually, there was one part that I was thinking of.
That's true. That's true. We didn't do the stomping of the feet in the vocal choir in the background doing the chant in the middle of the guitar solo. You're right. We didn't do that. But we did.
I'm telling you, it was a great idea.
We did have fun, and we worked real hard on the song. And Tim's parts and additions and ideas were really instrumental in making the song come about. We basically sat down with the keyboard programming at the beginning, which was the skeleton for the song, and Tim laid down the rhythm tracks, and I sang a rough vocal, and it was basically something so we could get a feel for the song, and Tim could feel the song, where it needs to work, where the riffs need to be placed, and the drum patterns and so forth. But we ended up keeping the vocal track. It was done really on the first day, and basically sung from beginning to end. No overtakes, no overdubs, just one, I had sung the song in rehearsals in 1987 numerous times, knew the song extremely well, so it came out. We kept saying one of these days we're going to redo the vocals, and then as people started to do the harmony parts and everything matched up, it became almost impossible at that point without having to redo everything. So the vocals were scratched, but they were kept, and we moved on from there. I can remember sitting with Tim on a Saturday doing the electric leads for the guitar solo, and had some good ideas, and we played with a few things, and we came up with something I thought was acceptable. Believe it or not, most of our sessions are just like this. I bring them a rough mix of the song, and I say, hey, find something that sounds good. a little bit of room for the vocals. I had a lot to learn. First of all, vocalists and guitar players have the same kind of ego. I left and Tim said, yeah, I'll look at it and maybe I'll work with it on the next day, and it would have been a Sunday afternoon. And I would see him on a Tuesday. Tuesday night I walked in, knocked on the door, and he met me at the door with a pair of headphones. And he said, here, listen to this. So I sat down he had a DAT copy he'd already made just of a rough mix of the song, and I was listening to the guitar parts, and I was just absolutely blown away. So on his own time, he basically redid all the parts and came up with the ending and the guitar solo, and by the time I showed up on Tuesday, it was completed. We then went to a mammoth time of producing the drums, which took a long time as far as programming is concerned. And we spent hours on that, and then of course I was listening to a rough mix on a trip and came up with this idea for the background vocals. And of course I'm thinking in my naive state that these background vocals are going to be, really easy. We'll just sit down and we'll lay out a few tracks and we'll do a couple of voices. Little did I know that it was going to take about 24 hours of recording time to get all of the vocals. We ended up with 12 tracks and one freelance, so it would have been 13 tracks. And we sat down, we had Jeff Baker come in on a weekend and spend 2 days in a row doing his parts. And we basically doubled each vocal part, and we had 4 vocal parts. And then a freelance track. Boy, what a nightmare. I think I made some enemies, and Susan Stahl came in twice to do her part. And then we got to the end and we thought, well, this is as good as it's going to get. Of course, Tim was never satisfied, but I thought, it's going to sound fine, and by the time he buried it with the guitars, you wouldn't notice anyway. So I quit laughing. We buried it so bad that we decided to put a reprise of just the vocals and the bass and the drums, and we made that the last song, a little 1 minute and so 44 seconds or so of the ending vocals that got buried in the original song. But anyway, we sat down with the vocals and we looked at Susan and we said, Susan, we're really thinking about a freelance track here, and I don't know what you have in mind. We really don't know what we have in mind, but something, kind of a choral thing, maybe, you can think of like Aretha Franklin. How about that? And so she stood there right in front of us and did it. And we said, that's the one we want. So she walked in.
Nothing, just
nothing. Acapella, man. So we said, okay,
cut loose.
Hop in the cage. Let's listen to it. And she did it in one take. I swear, it was something.
That I need to defend Lazarus here just a little bit, okay? The ending, precisely. I don't want to hear anything about my guitars drowning out anything, okay? Because we had, I can't tell you how much work went into the whole song, mixing from a mixing standpoint. We all made some mistakes, and we all did some learning and growing through that process. And actually, okay, I made the mistakes.
Oh, man.
Some of the mistakes.
Sounds great.
Mixing wise, I made life very difficult for myself with that song, but it was a learning experience, and overall I think it came out pretty good. But towards the end of the song, I needed help mixing the song, and I couldn't do the whole thing by myself. And I had done these sheets, and Herb created this initial settings sheet for me, and we documented all the positions of all the faders and all the EQ settings and all the balance controls and the whole layout. And then from there, I went and I made up I think I had 3 pages of things to do during the song for the mix, and I had 2 sets of those 3 pages, so I needed to bring in some help. And that song, we never actually, in my mind, we never actually finished it, because at the end of the song, okay, the guitars are obviously a little bit out of control, okay. It's been fun working with Herb and watching Herb grow over the years. You know, when he first came and started working on some music, his ideas were, he had great ideas, but wasn't sure how to carry them out to the fullest extent. And both of us, I think, have grown in the time, because the course of making this music spans over such a long period, unfortunately. It would have been nice if we could have worked a little bit harder and more compact on it. Herb likes to say that we spent a year working on Lazarus, right? A year or what?
A year and a half.
Well, it wasn't really a year and a half, okay? We worked on it on the weekends and, you know, evenings and that sort of thing, and there was some dead time in between there.
Outside her door, the echoes in the garden rang out, the master's on his way. But she slumped her head in silence and turned and walked away. The voices in the crowd revealed the Lord was getting near. As Martha ran out to meet him, she felt an overwhelming fear. So fickle seemed the healing hands that formed the suffering's fate. But she knew for sure those healing hands arrived a little late. And when he called for her, her tears had scarcely dried. She said, Lord, if you'd only come, my brother would not have died. But he gently asked, where is his body kept? And then he wept. Those present began to inquire. Murmurs through the village were spreading like a fire, for they had seen his potent healing power as he moved from place to place. But an attempt to raise a dead man would end in such disgrace. And as we reached the tomb, he asked a stone be rolled away. Martha cried out, by now, Lord, the body has decayed. He said, by this you'll know the power of God displayed. And with a shout, he cried, Lazarus, come out. has the